courses are very important for prisoners, especially those who want to improve themselves. Just So hello and welcome to another lecture. And the topic of this lecture is what are open prisons in Rajasthan? That's very ironical. Open prisons. Prisons तो हम कहते ही उसको हैं. हम तो metaphorically भी ये word use करते हैं prison. That means which is completely bound from all the sides. But we are talking about open prisons. This is an irony that open and prisons at the same time. That is how it goes, open prisons in Rajasthan. देखिए, criminal jurisprudence, the theories of punishment and the concept of justice, these are the things which are based on the reformative theories of punishment. Different legal systems, they follow different theories of punishment. There are many countries that they follow deterrent theories of punishment. In like the punishments in for committing the crimes in those countries are very strict, so that the strictness and the harshness of the punishment deters the public and the offenders from committing the crime. And also, it is quite successful. There is one retributive theory of punishment. Retributive theory of punishment means whatever has the offender done to the victim should be done to him in order to avenge the same thing and balance the wheels of justice. That is how things go and work in different legal systems or judicial systems. But ours is a mix of two things. We majorly follow reformative theory of punishment because we believe in the reformation of the offenders. But at the same time, there is a lot of deterrence from committing the crime. Okay, the conditions of the prisons in India is really pathetic, beyond pathetic, I must say. And in the name of reformation, we are really making them hardened criminals. जब कोई क्रिमिनल, कोई ऑफेंडर जेल में चला जाता है तो वो वहां से और ज्यादा हार्डेंड क्रिमिनल बन के निकलता है, क्योंकि जो कंडीशंस में वो वहां अंदर रहता है, दे मेक हिम इवन मोर फ्रस्ट्रेटेड एंड हार्डेंड हार्डकोर क्रिमिनल. तो क्या हम ह्यूमेन सिस्टम फॉलो कर सकते हैं? शुड वी नॉट रिमेंबर दैट द ऑफेंडर्स or the criminals who are behind the bars are at the end of the day also human beings? We can't like allow them to live in inhumane conditions. So that is the concept from where comes the concept and the idea of open prisons in Rajasthan. Now these are model principles. What are open prisons and a brief history of open prisons in Rajasthan? The name open prisons itself suggests prisons without physical bars. It is a system of incarceration of convicts without confining them within closed enclosures. It is a humane system developed on reformative theory of punishment with a purpose to reform the convicts and reintegrate them into the society as a responsible citizen. This system enhances the dignity of the convict while he or she serves the sentence without being subject to the horrors of closed prison. This mainly dwells upon the object of reformation of the convict while considering his worth as a unit of society, looking beyond deterrence and retribution. Looking beyond deterrence and retribution. Deterrence means डरा के रखना, deter करना, ताकि डर के मारे कोई क्राइम ना करे कि हमें इतनी खतरनाक सजा हो जाएगी, हमें कैपिटल पनिशमेंट हो जाएगी, हमें ओपन प्रिजन्स में हमें प्रिजन्स में जाना पड़ेगा, फिर हमें ऐसी कंडीशंस में रहना पड़ेगा विच आर बियॉन्ड पैथेटिक. तो वो जो डेटरेंस होता है ना, उसको डेटरेंट थ्योरी ऑफ पनिशमेंट कहते हैं. रेट्रीब्यूशन इज, मैंने आपको बता दिया कि व्हाट द ऑफेंडर हैज डन टू द विक्टिम शुड बी डन टू हिम एज वेल in order to balance the scales of justice. This is important that he must go through the same pain which the victim has gone through. But the question is that the legal and judicial systems do not follow these kinds of punishments or this theory. So we are now talking about open prisons in Rajasthan on the basis of reformative theory of punishment, that we have to reform them and we have to make them better human beings fit for a civilized society. We can't let people go behind the bars like this forever and ever, and we cannot make we cannot keep our people with lot of fear and trouble. Okay, so यहाँ पर beyond deterrence and retribution एक theory को follow किया गया है, which is reformative theory. The inmates in the open prisons are left to stay with their families, pursue vocations of their choice, and gives them full opportunity to reintegrate themselves with the society. देखिए ये एक चांस जो है ना, आप कहेंगे कि फिर फायदा क्या हुआ सजा देने का? कैसे विक्टिम का कॉन्शियस सेटिस्फाई होगा कि हाँ भाई इस बंदे को जेल में नहीं रखा, बल्कि जेल में ना रख के उसको खुला छोड़ रखा है और वो फैमिली के साथ भी रह रहा है और वोकेशनल कोर्सेज भी कर रहा है, एंड वो बात ठीक है। देखिए यहाँ पर हीनियस ऑफेंसेस की बात नहीं हो रही, लेट्स बी वेरी क्लियर, यहाँ हीनियस ऑफेंसेस की बात नहीं हो रही कि रेपिस्ट को जो है वो खुला छोड़ दिया जाएगा। ये एक हैबिचुअल ऑफेंडर है, मर्डरर है, डकैत है, बहुत बड़ा सुपारी किलर है, उसको छोड़ दिया जाएगा इस तरीके से ताकि वो और लोगों की भी जान ले ले। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। सो यहां पर बात हो रही है कि बहुत सारे देखिए अक्यूज्ड हैं जो रॉन्गली फॉल्सली इम्प्लीकेट हो चुके हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो फर्स्ट टाइम ऑफेंडर्स हैं जो क्राइम करना नहीं चाहते थे लेकिन उन्होंने मजबूरी में क्राइम कर दिया, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो क्राइम कर दिया है लेकिन दे वांट टू इम्प्रूव, वो अब बेटर ह्यूमन बींग्स बनना चाहते हैं। तो लेट्स बी वेरी क्लियर, ये उन लोगों के बारे में बात हो रही है, दोज हु हैव अ स्कोप ऑफ रिफॉर्मेशन, and those who do not have the scope of reformation are left to stay behind the closed prisons, closed bars, because they are not fit to be released into the society, they are not fit to be integrated or reintegrated into the society. Okay, so even the families, I have personally worked with some of the prisoners, I have found that most of the families, they want their loved ones to come out, but most of them are also there, like they do not want those family members to come out because they are trouble for their own families. They are such hardcore criminals that their own families do not want them to come out of the jail. Only because that those people are a trouble for their own families. The families are now fed up with them and they want them to stay behind the bars. So we are not talking about these kinds of people. We are talking about people who have accidentally committed the crime or were the first time offenders and they want to improve themselves, they want to become better human beings. That is where the reformative theory of punishment squarely applies. Okay, so the inmates in the open prisons are left to stay with their families. Now how you will say that they can abscond at any time, वो कभी भी भाग सकते हैं, फिर तो फायदा क्या हुआ? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। They are in closed continuous taps are kept on their movements, कहाँ जा रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो बच के भाग जाएं कहीं पर भी। Are left to stay with their families, pursue vocations of their choice. कोई भी उनको देखिए टेलरिंग का काम, स्टिचिंग कोई अच्छी करता है तो स्टिचिंग करवाइए, ठीक है, कोई बेल बनाने का काम बहुत अच्छा करता है तो वो बनवाइए, डिजाइन्स बनाता है कपड़े के वो बनवाइए, कोई प्लम्बिंग अच्छी करता है तो प्लम्बिंग करवाइए, ठीक है, जिसके अंदर जो स्किल्स हैं उनको ब्रश अप करना है, तो वोकेशनल कोर्सेज हैं। अब उसमें स्टिचिंग भी हो सकता, अच्छा कपड़े आपने सिलवा लिए, आप पैसा दे दीजिए उनको, तो उनको अच्छा लगेगा, जब उनको अच्छा लगेगा तो वो अपने आप को रीइंटीग्रेट करना चाहेंगे कि हमने काम किया, हमें पैसा मिला, अब हम अपनी फैमिलीज को भी भेज सकते हैं पैसा। ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, देखिए साइकोलॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस साइकोलॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो वोकेशनल कोर्सेज प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं, यहां पर भी बहुत सारे ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज दी गई हैं जहां पर कुशन कवर्स सिए हैं, ओके, पिलो कवर्स सिए हैं प्रिजनर्स ने, और फिर उनको निकालकर जाके यहाँ अलीगढ़ एग्जीबिशन में उनकी एक दुकान लगाई गई, वहां पर वो सेल किए गए। जब वो सेल किए गए तो उससे पैसा आया, और जो पैसा आया वो उन लोगों को मिला। दे फेल्ट गुड, दे फेल्ट बेटर कि हमने कुछ किया प्रोडक्टिव। जब वो उन्हें एहसास हो जाता है कि वी आर प्रोडक्टिव एंड वी कैन डू समथिंग फॉर आवरसेल्व्स, फॉर द फैमिली एंड फॉर द सोसाइटी एज अ होल, then they want there develops a scope of reformation. This is a psychological treatment. Vocational courses are very important for prisoners, especially those who want to improve themselves. Just one chance should be given to them. At least one chance should be given to them. So pursue vocations of their choice and gives them full opportunity to reintegrate themselves with the society. Okay, this prevents them from being subjected to subhuman or inhumane conditions in closed prisons, which are mostly overcrowded, unhygienic, and does not augur well for the mental health of the inmate. सी दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इवन आप देखें, इसी आर्टिकल का एक पार्ट है जो मैंने पढ़ा था, रोटी एज अ फॉर्म ऑफ पनिशमेंट। रोटी, जो खाने की रोटी होती है, ROTI, रोटी, ये एक फॉर्म ऑफ पनिशमेंट है प्रिजनर्स के लिए, क्योंकि प्रिजनर्स बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं जो कुकिंग कुकिंग करते हैं। तो जो जेल के अंदर रोटियां पकाते हैं, वो किस कंडीशन में रोटियां पकाते हैं, कितनी रोटियां पकाते हैं, वो खाना, एक होता है ना कि सिर्फ काम करवाना, एक होता है सजा देना। वहां पर उनको रोटियां बनवा के सजाएं दी जाती हैं। यानी कि अब आप सोचिए कि दिन में अगर 500 रोटी बन एक आदमी बनाएगा, एक ऐसी कंडीशन में बैठ के जो एक्सट्रीमली हीटेड है, वहां पर अंदर कोई आप 10 सेकंड तक टिक नहीं सकते। उन कंडीशंस में बैठ के एक बंदा सुबह से लेकर शाम तक 400 500 चपातीज बना रहा है। तो कैन यू इमेजिन द लेवल ऑफ टॉर्चर? So roti has become a form of punishment for some of the prisoners inside the prisons. So देखिए यहां पर ओवरक्राउडेड है। एक प्रिजन, एक सेल के अंदर पता नहीं कितने कितने प्रिजनर्स घुसे पड़े हुए हैं। वहीं पर सेम एट द सेम स्पॉट जो है, वहीं पर फ्लश बना हुआ है, टॉयलेट बना हुआ है, वहीं पर उनको खाना दिया जा रहा है, वही खा रहे हैं। वहीं पर रैट्स हैं, वहीं पर जो है वो जानवर हैं, लिजर्ड्स हैं। क्या किस टाइप की कंडीशंस हैं? हॉरिबल कंडीशंस हैं, हॉरिबल कंडीशंस हैं प्रिजनर्स की। तो ओवरक्राउडेड, ये सब ह्यूमन और इनह्यूमन कंडीशंस हैं, बिकॉज ये ओवरक्राउडेड है, अनहाइजेनिक है, डज नॉट ऑगो वेल फॉर द मेंटल हेल्थ ऑफ द इनमेट। द deplorable and pathetic state of conditions in closed prisons is deeply perturbing for the inmate and also mutilates his soul. Open prisons, however, prevents the inmates from being subject to such tortures and allows them to stay with their families, indulge in paid labor while undergoing the sentence of punishment without being tethered to bars and treading on the path of reformation. Their stay with the families is the biggest emotional crutch for the inmates. See, the stay with the families is the biggest emotional crutch because the families help them grow. Okay? Emotional crutch है बहुत बड़ा. Okay? The opportunities to earn livelihood for their families instills self-confidence in them. This furthers the idea of bringing down the level of recidivism. I have told you before even some of the lectures what is recidivism. Recidivism is repeat offenders, or recidivism, habit of repeating the offense. Okay. By not looking down upon the prisoner with disapprobation and making him realize the worth of his self as well as the community. Okay, recidivism, repeat करना, बार बार offense को repeat करना. Okay, so this furthers the idea of bringing down the level of recidivism by not looking down upon the prisoner with disapprobation. हम बड़ी नीची निगाहों से देखते हैं ना प्रिजनर को, कोई बात नहीं, गलती ह्यूमन बीइंग है, टू अर इज ह्यूमन, कोई बात नहीं. नाउ ही वांट्स टू reintegrate, most welcome, welcome him with open arms. Even the person who is doing this will feel good after doing this. By not looking down upon the prisoner with disapprobation and making him realize the worth of his self as well as community. The prisoner officials in open prison systems takes care of the prisoners like proper health care, sanitation, food, accommodation, alongside ensuring their safe custody. While the past century is replete with incidences of inmates being subject to severe punishments while undergoing rigorous imprisonments, the concept of open prisons has come as a sigh of relief for inmates in Rajasthan. It weans away the barbaric philosophy of retribution and deterrence. While borrowing the idea of an open prison from Sitarganj in Uttar Pradesh, first Rajasthan Jail Reform Committee was set up in Rajasthan in 1962 to 63, which submitted its report in 1965 containing the idea of open prisons that came from the jail officials. The first open prison initially started as a practice in Rajasthan in 1954 to 55 with an open camp at Durgapura Agricultural Farm near the Jaipur city, following the Gandhian principle of dwelling upon the innate virtues of a human being, which later sublimated into rules drafted in the year 1970 to 72. The rules were formulated by R.K. Saxena, who was then superintendent of Ajmer Model Prison, which were then vetted by superintendents of other jails. So that's the history of open prisons. The idea of Rajasthan open prison system was conceived while reckoning a bunch of social factors in the state. There was, for example, a practice of Nath Pratha, according to which the husband or the wife had the right to remarry if the other spouse does not return within the next 3 years. अब किसी को 5 साल की सजा हो गई तो उसकी तो बीवी शादी कर लेगी दूसरी. तो ये तो बड़ा नाथ प्रथा तो बड़ी जालिमाना थी, है ना. और हो सकता है औरत जेल चली जाए तो फौरन, मर्द तो 3 साल भी इंतजार नहीं करेगा, वो तो फौरन ही शादी कर लेगा. The question is that therefore the prisoners sentenced to imprisonment for more than 3 years got estranged from their marital partners. ये बहुत खराब चीज थी. वो उनको डबल डबल सजा मिल जाती, जेल भी जा रहे हैं और फैमिली से भी हाथ धो रहे हैं, पार्टनर भी खो रहे हैं, अपना लाइफ पार्टनर भी खो रहे हैं. Because of this, the families disintegrated and children of such couples suffered the most. सबसे ज्यादा बुरा असर पूरे, ये देखिए, इससे सोसाइटी बर्बाद होती है. फैमिली खाली बर्बाद नहीं हो रही है, सोसाइटी बर्बाद हो रही है. पता नहीं कितनी ऐसी फैमिलीज होंगी जहां पर बच्चे बर्बाद हो रहे होंगे. अल्टीमेटली क्या होगा? सोसाइटी खराब होगी. The families in the initial years of incarceration usually visited prisoners, but the visits seem to have declined with the passage of time, consequentially such visits ending completely. The jail authorities used to ask these families in writing to meet their inmates from time to time, while she is tethered to behind the bars. Therefore, the idea of prisoners staying with their families dominated the concept of open prison system. The reintegration of prisoners necessitates continued social interaction. Open prison system facilitates this social interaction and materializes the idea of making responsible citizens through reformation. Later, Sanganer Open Prison was set up, which housed around 32 to 33 prisoners in the initial years. The people of the society initially objected, but later adjusted when they were asked to come to the prisons and meet the prisoners. Hence, the taboo was broken. The open prison was built on the principle of self-discipline and no guards were deployed outside the prisons. Self-discipline was deeply encouraged. Prisoners were responsible to look after their families, realize their self-worth, and juxtapose with the society. Okay, so that's all about open prisons in Rajasthan. Thank you.